Hey everybody, welcome back to James Draws Everything. Continuing today, drawing every country in the world's flag. And today we're going to be going into North Africa, and we're going to be doing the country of Morocco. And then Morocco also kind of sort of includes the disputed territory zone of Western Sahara. We did talk about that one a little bit in our Mauritania episode, so go watch that one if you want to learn a little bit more about that. Kind of one of those areas on the map that's always sort of grayed out, kind of disputed. It does sort of belong to Morocco now, and it's kind of recognized as such internationally, but we'll get to that. So Morocco, got a lot of red in this flag. Hopefully our red marker will make it. You know, my red marker is pretty close to leaving this mortal plane and going up to join. It's all the marker brothers and sisters I've lost along the way up there. And oh yeah, Morocco. So home to early Berber people, right? They're sort of kind of like the original inhabitants of this land. And the Berbers, they fall prey to Phoenician influence that comes from the west, or I'm sorry, from the east. And then they're also subjected to Roman influence. So this place very much very close to Europe. So kind of has a lot of European influence in its architecture, its food. Roman architecture actually does still exist in Morocco. So if you want to see old Roman ruins, Morocco is a place to go. And their food, I think, is generally pretty excellent. I'm a big fan of Moroccan food, and kind of just due to the geographic location of this country, kind of right on the Mediterranean. It's in Africa, right? But North Africa is a little different than it's southern brothers from different mothers, and then it's also kind of like European, right? So you got a lot of different influence that comes through, just kind of passing through along those trade routes and whatnot. So yeah, they do a lot of spicy dishes with stuff like couscous, and yeah, try Moroccan food if you get the chance. It's pretty yummy. So yeah, it does sort of go back and forth. In about 788, so right, sort of like the rise of Islam. A series of Muslim dynasties ruled Morocco in the 16th century. The Saadi monarchy under Abdul al-Mansur, they kind of usher in like a Moroccan golden age and get rid of a lot of foreign influence. This place is kind of unique too because they never become part of the Ottoman Empire, right? So you'd think that North Africa, the Ottomans would kind of have this place locked up, but nope, they don't. And Morocco, definitely, that's kind of caused them to always kind of have their own identity. Morocco does actually expand into Spain as well. And then we kind of know what happens there, right? The Reconquista in Spain, they kick out the Islamic influence. And the Alawite dynasty kind of owes itself to the current royal family, or the royal family owes itself to them. That dates from like the 17th century up until now. We already did Tunisia, right? So Tunisia, the modern borders of like the Tunisian state, they kind of fluctuate a little bit. So a lot of this history, Morocco, Tunisia, kind of overlaps. Morocco, they do become the first country to recognize United States independence. So, bet you didn't know that, did you? Unless you did. But a lot of people don't, right? You don't really You'd think maybe that was like a European country, but nope, it was Morocco. So yeah, so Spain, there's a little bit of bad blood there. In 1860, the Spanish occupy northern Morocco, and Morocco kind of becomes sort of a hot spot between European powers, right? Because all the Europeans were not quite at the scramble for Africa yet, and I almost wouldn't even call Morocco part of that, just because scramble for Africa, that's more like sub-Saharan Africa. So this is something a little bit different. A Spanish enclave in Morocco actually still remains today. Up on the northern coast, there's like a very small community that is still considered part of Spain. So you have a lot of rivalries among European powers. So Morocco kind of declines during this time a little bit, right? Like as far as having their own say in things, their sovereignty kind of erodes a little bit. And then in 1912, the French kind of gain a foothold, so they impose a protectorate over the country, and this actually does cause a war later on for Moroccan independence. So kind of at the same time that a lot of African countries are gaining their independence from European powers, Morocco is one of the first. So they go to war with France and boot them out in 1956, and they have been considered an independent country ever since 1956. So a lot of Spanish possessions were kind of part of that deal as well, and they were kind of turned over to the new country when it gained independence. And the Sultan Muhammad V takes over, creates a constitutional monarchy, right? And those constitutional monarchies tend to work, right, for the Arab, even though this isn't really Arab. You can kind of debate that with like Berbers or Moroccans, but definitely Islamic country, right? So constitutional monarchies tend to be the way to go for stable governance with these kind of states. And then I guess we can sort of touch base on Western Sahara. Right, so Western Sahara, the Spanish actually still laid claim to that area. They withdraw not until 1976, and Morocco basically claims it. They kind of de facto have administration over that realm. The United Nations did not recognize it, and this kind of caused a war with like Algeria and Mauritania. Mauritania actually backs out in the 70s, but there is still a dispute. The United Nations kind of has to step in. They broker a ceasefire agreement in 1991. So kind of ushered in peace, but as recently as 2020, that kind of broke down. Got to remember too, Western Sahara, it's extremely underpopulated as far as like their population density, right? Like this place, it kind of barely has a government, but the kind of independence force in Western Sahara, the Polisario Front, they sort of open up negotiations in 2020, and the United States actually now recognizes Moroccan sovereignty over all of Western Sahara. So I guess we can kind of count Western Sahara as part of Morocco, right? When we're counting like their population or like their total area. But it's not. It's kind of one of those things where it's not really internationally recognized, right? It's just because you're an independent country Doesn't mean that the whole world agrees with that, and I guess this is a good as time to any to point out that I'm going by the list that has 194 countries, right? So I included the Vatican. I did not include Hong Kong. I did not include Palestine or Kosovo. So very controversial, right? And I'm not even saying that I hold those opinions, right? I'm just, in my humble opinion, and I'm probably a little more sympathetic to some of those nations than you may think. But I'm just kind of, for convenience purposes, I'm doing 194. So that's sort of like the accepted version, as far as I'm concerned. All right, so this flag, it's I think the only flag that actually has the star kind of outlined like that, right? Like the cheating way to do a star, right? Like, so, you know me on this channel, I always say I hate drawing stars at this scale, just because they often kind of get lost in what their other the marker colors. But yeah, this one's easy, right? Because it's just all those straight lines connecting. And Morocco, actually, they're the earliest civilization to invent the star drawing like this, right? So before, like caveman times and stuff, they actually had to try to measure it out. And then the Moroccans actually invented, they looked at it and said, you know what, it would be easier if we just did this. And is that true, James? No, actually, I just made that up. But that's in my head canon. Okay, so that's my that's my explanation for that. So what has Morocco been like, as far as like in recent times, right? They did have a lot of Arab Spring protests in 2011. Definitely one of the more stable countries in Africa, right? They're always kind of aligned with the United States on a lot of things. So like they were part of like the Abraham Accords with Israel. So yeah, they sort of remain on our good side. Morocco, part of Africa, but kind of not. Sort of European, but kind of not. Sort of Arab, but kind of not. Definitely a unique place. So what does that flag mean? Well, this country is like 99% Sunni Islam. So this is an Islamic inspired flag, right? So you got that green star, the Suleiman, so the Solomon seal, red and green, traditional colors of not just Christmas, but of Arab flags. So the five-pointed star, that represents the 5 pillars of Islam, and signifies the association between God and the nation. All right, and then this particular design goes back to 1912. If you want to go further back in like the Moroccan dynasty and look at some early versions of this flag, the background is green, and then sometimes the star is yellow, and there's a lot of like calligraphy and inscriptions inside the star. But no calligraphy or inscriptions on this one, so Morocco making my job easier. And that is, once again, Morocco. Morocco. All right, so that's Morocco. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next video.